Okay, since last time we met, the historic courthouse and some other county buildings have become part of the legal system. What happened at the 25-year-old new courthouse that forced this legal proceedings to be moved? Well, it's 30-year-old new courthouse.
32.
Yeah.
We had just revamped and upgraded the elevators, and everything was working wonderfully well. And then we get a letter from the company, and they tell us that there is a faulty part in the two elevators, and they want us to sign a piece of paper saying, in essence, if the elevator falls, you can't hold us harmless. Well, we're not going to do that. And they said with this safety device, which we already had on there, it could still drop 4 feet. And we have people here who are 4 feet tall, so that's kind of a big drop. So we instantly got in touch with Rena, the clerk of court, and we put together a plan. She gets the lion's share of the credit. We had a meeting 2 Fridays ago with all of the judges and all the department heads, probate judges, and all the staff. And we were able to come up with a plan very quickly, like for the next Monday. And so we're having civil court here in the 125-year-old Anderson Courthouse again. And we're having civil court here and at 1428 on Pyramidary Road, that's where we're having criminal court. And other offices are trying to make do with what they have, working it out. We're always cognizant of our ADA responsibilities and our commitment to that. And so it's been wonderful, and we have a lot of the judges who just absolutely love being in the old courtroom, and they really get a kick out of that. And it's running amazingly smooth. It's been a lot of fun having all of this going on, and again, give Rena a lot of credit as the clerk of court, handling all of this and making this all run smooth. So we found a way to do it. We always find a way to do it, but it'll be over hopefully in 4 months.
Okay. All right. Last night, county council approved more than $370,000 in ATAX funds. Remind people where that money comes from and how it has to be used.
It's accommodations tax, which is a tax on hotel rooms. And we get a portion of that money, the city gets a portion of that money. But that money goes directly into activities that will generate more people coming to Anderson. It's a tourism tax, if you will. If you rent a hotel room, you pay that tax, and then we put that money into fishing tournaments, and there was a whole broad range of things, everything from cow shows to you name it, everybody got some of that money. So it stays in the community and brings more people in the community, which is not only good for the hotels and the restaurants, but it's good for all of us because it brings fresh new money into our area.
And that pot's getting a little bigger every year, right?
15 years ago, it was less than $100,000, and now we're knocking on the door at $400,000. So our efforts in tourism have brought forth a lot of good things, and it will continue to grow and continue to bring more things to Anderson.
And if the county had that similar hospitality tax, that would generate more than 10 times that amount.
Probably $4 million a year.
So is council going to consider that again soon? Or?
I think council's primary focus right now is to have a penny sales tax to fix up the 1,500 miles of county road, also do some work in conjunction with the state on some roads. And I think that's where their focus is right now. As you know, they haven't raised taxes in 15 years, and they've looked at all the options of what to do, and they are tax shy. They just don't want to put a burden on the taxpayers, but they're looking at that to get that on the ballot, not this November, but next November, and give the people in Anderson County a chance to decide whether they want to do it or not do it. So that's about as democratic as you can be with a tax situation.
Taxpayers don't approve that, then the roads are not going to be fixed. They're going to be patched, but you can't really.
Well, we're going to be patching. We're going to be going backwards every year, just like Greenville County. There's a big debate in Greenville County. Their council has not decided what to do about that, but they're going backwards. And I mean, with the growth that we have and with the people who are born and raised here, we need to do something with the roads, and not to beat a dead horse, but council looked at a vehicle fee, raised around $3 million. They don't want to put a fee on vehicles. $3 million is a tremendous amount of money. But in terms of 1,500 miles of road, it's not a lot. They also look at the idea of possibly increasing millage. Well, a mill's about $1 million a year. You don't want to put that burden on the property owners in Anderson County. If you put it on a penny sales tax on gas, yes, 100% of the people in Anderson County would pay that. That's a bona fide fact. But a whole lot of that money would come from out of the county that would help us make our roads better, and we would get around $50 million a year. And again, council's not going to impose this. They're going to give the public the opportunity to decide what they want to do. Well, they would probably put a 7-year limit on it, and it would expire in that time, and the only way it could ever come back is if the people had another referendum and they voted again to impose it. That's the only way it could. But it would raise around $50 million a year, and you could get everything around here in real good shape, road-wise.
Yeah, if Anderson County became the county with the best roads, that would open a lot of opportunities.
The Good Roads County, yes, that would be a wonderful reputation to have, a wonderful reputation to have.
And council's still working on the wording of it, and they have not passed the third reading of the resolution yet?
No, we're still working on the wording, taking the information from the study that is complete physically, but we're doing the digesting of it right now to put that in a form that can go into the ordinance. Because you want people to know exactly what they're voting for, not, hey, we're going to slip this in or look over there while we do this. It has to be completely transparent.
Last night, council also approved fee in lieu of taxes for 3 businesses, which promised to bring in another 243 jobs. One of the most common questions I hear is exactly what is fee in lieu of taxes the council offers businesses, and why is it a necessity?
This is no story, but South Carolina has one of the highest corporate tax rates in the United States of America. Why do they have that? Well, at one point in time, they wanted to make sure that we had no industry in South Carolina, and so that was a deterrence for people to come to South Carolina to do business. Why did you want to do that? So you'd have plenty of people to work on the farm.
1890s, right?
1890s, and they wouldn't have to do anything else. Whenever we needed help, there was always plenty of farm hands around, okay? So the state passed a law a long time ago. The first time it was ever used was in Anderson County, South Carolina for Michelin, and it brings that tax rate down in line with other places in the country. I mean, you know, there's special tax provisions in Georgia, North Carolina, everywhere else, and people always say, well, you're giving money away. Well, if they don't come here, there's no money to give away. And because of the success that the Anderson County Council has in economic development, even with the discounted tax rate, that fund goes up every year and provides a lot of protection against tax increases because of that growth. I mean, you've got companies here employing 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people. They're paying taxes every day. So that's what it's about. That's why it came into place, and that's why the state in its wisdom said we have to do something to relieve that pressure. And, you know, Anderson County is a huge manufacturing center, but also Anderson County is a huge agricultural power in the state. The old slang was where industry and agriculture meet. That was one of our mottos, and we still remember that motto here in county government.
That wasn't that long ago.
Wasn't that long ago. And it's still that true. I think we're #1 in beef cattle. I think we're in the top 5 in horses and just about anything else you have. So we're proud of that too.
You mentioned last time that another international company not currently represented in Anderson is looking to relocate here. You got any update on that?
Yeah, hopefully we're going to have an announcement before Christmas. The way it looks right now, we'll definitely have an announcement before Christmas. So
that'll be a new nation, one we don't have right now.
A new nation, Italian. This may be Italian, Irish, and one other all wrapped up into one.
Some new flags for us.
Yes.
Council also approved tax incentives to increase broadband availability countywide. Where does the county stand right now on that price?
One of the big things that Anderson County, and we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, we have partnered with Upcountry Fiber, which is Blue Ridge Electric and Western Carolina Telephone. We have large areas in Anderson County that don't have broadband service. So we have helped them get grants. We have actually given money towards some of the projects to speed this up. And what they wanted was a fee deal because this is a separate entity. I would rather them not give that money, that tax money to us. I would rather them put that in the ground. We're reaching parts of Anderson County that have never had broadband, and because of our partnership with this company, they're really moving out smartly in LaFrance area, up in that area. Powdersville area, and especially around the Honeypath area down there, the Belton area. We're actually getting broadband in those areas, and we're really excited about it. And anything we can do to speed up broadband coverage, availability for people, we're going to do that.
And their work has spurred some of the other companies to increase their broadband.
Well, everybody's having wars about getting new customers. And we put out a public announcement. Anybody, AT&T or anybody else, could have said, we want to join in with you. Well, Upcountry Fiber said, yeah, we want to jump in there and do that. And so they've been a great partner to us. They've done everything they said they were going to do, and plus a little more.
It seems like every county council meeting, including and actually a meeting this morning before you and I sat down, has something to do with sewer or wastewater projects or improvement. How expansive is the county's work in these areas, and how expensive are these things?
Sewer is very, very, very expensive. And with all of the money that's been put out by the federal government and the state government, the prices to do work has gone up because there are not enough contractors right now for all the work that's taking place. There are not enough manufacturers making sewer pumps in this country. I mean, like, we have projects to talk about Exit 14. It's done. It is done. We won't get the pumps until April. Did we order them a way long time ago? Yes, we did. It's just backlog. But again, and I touched on it last time, those backlogs are really good in a way because people are bringing manufacturing jobs back home to America. They're not going to put them on a ship anymore. Shipping costs have gone up so much. Economies in other areas that used to be, we'll work for 10 cents a day, that's going away in a lot of those companies. So they're finding out it's easier to manufacture products in the United States, to sell in the United States, and be close to the market and be able to service those things. So it's bad in a way, but it's also having some long-term ramifications that we're happy about.
And haven't you said that there's a line of people waiting for Exit 14 to be up and running?
There's a line, yes. That was reiterated again yesterday. There's a line.
At an earlier meeting, council approved the county's first 2 code enforcement officers. What will they do exactly, and how do they differ from other law enforcement?
Well, what they do is they work in the Anderson County Building and Codes Department. And council has adopted new rules and regulations. In the past, we used a lot of our litter officers, but state law changed and said they have to be confined strictly to litter. So that's what they do. So to compensate from that, we created the Codes Enforcement Department, and they have the ability to go look at tall grass, dilapidated buildings, bad fencing, a whole host of other activities that we were prohibited from doing. So it's working very well, and those people earn their money because they're working every day.
And they had the authority of a law enforcement officer.
Yes, they have the authority of a law enforcement person. They're not with the sheriff's department. They're under special statute, Anderson County Building and Codes, state authorized.
And Green Pond's one of the places, I know people say we talk about Green Pond a lot, but there's a lot going on there. Green Pond's one of the places that really needs to be patrolled, right?
It absolutely has to be
I'll
patrolled.
say it's hard to ignore when there have been multiple championships in the last 30 days out there. What other upgrades are planned out there?
But we're just waiting on some more grant money to become available. We have a lot of things that we'd like to do out there. But the amphitheater's now had 2 concerts out there, and we have more activities coming out there. It's more than just fishing, and if you go out there, you'll see the RV park on construction right beside it. We have people looking at other things related to Green Pond, maybe not necessarily on the lake. We know there are restaurants looking to go on the lake right now. As a matter of fact, we know who's going to run some of them. So we're excited about all this to happen. I think it's going to make the lake available to everybody in Anderson County, and I think it's going to be an enhancement for people who live on the lake to give them more options on things to do.
And it kind of circles back around to our sewer conversation. Getting sewer out there was a big deal.
Getting sewer out there is a big deal. Council's authorized us to spend a huge amount of money on sewer, but we've also received a ton of grant money, like the project that we're doing with Anderson, Clemson, and Pendleton, that 5 million gallon wastewater treatment plant, because of the growth is so strong up there. We've received $10 million from the state for that project and $5.5 million from the federal government for that project. So it's very expensive. Sewer projects are expensive, but they pay back fairly quickly, not in the user fees for sewer and things like that, but for increased taxes, new businesses, new options, new things for people to do.
Because that area was pretty limited before the sewer.
Absolutely.
That whole area out that road.
Absolutely.
Well, closer to town, the Anderson County Museum just added a new member to the Anderson County Hall of Fame. How important is a good museum to both the community and economic development?
I can tell you, last night, the family from Mr. Lee, prominent in the early history of Anderson County in North Carolina and South Carolina, family came from Charlotte, they came from Atlanta, and they all came to the Anderson County Museum. Their comments were, this museum is as good or better than anything we have where we come from. That's what they said. We're constantly having events at the museum thanks to Beverly Child. We have homeschool days, we have American Girl. It's a resource for people looking at history. It's just a blessing to have, and council supports it, and Beverly raises more money than anybody I know of to do things like that, and it's just a wonderful place, and it's an attraction for people in Anderson County. And if you've never been there, you ought to go. It doesn't cost anything, and you will come out amazed. And buy something in the gift shops that helps support the museum. And Christmas is coming up, and they have their Christmas opportunity to come over there too, which is always packed. You shouldn't miss that.
Ornaments.
Ornaments.
Like the museum, the Anderson County Library System has activities scheduled free to the public almost every day, and they have a new logo, and they continue to evolve with electronic books, magazines, newspapers, and stuff.
There are a lot of institutions in Anderson County that are on the cutting edge of a lot of things that you think you have to go somewhere else to do, but you don't. And that's because we have good, dedicated people working throughout the county, and we're just proud of everything that's going on in various. I mean, you know, look at Paws. It's the best in the country. I'm not saying that. Other people say that. All of these institutions are in Anderson County, museum, library, things like that we have going
The
on.
reason I brought the library in specific is it's free to the public, and they've got everything from if you need to use a sewing machine or get somebody to teach you how to do it.
Yep.
Or, I mean, people don't think about the library as a place you can go
Or if you want to go use a computer and find a job.
or use a computer to learn computer and design things. People don't put the library in that category a lot of times.
Well, libraries
they're all over the county. So
Libraries are evolving, and we can't wait until we can open the new library that we were secured grant money for in Iowa. We think that's going to be a big plus.
winter is coming, and how does the county work to provide for those when the cold weather comes?
In the past, we have used the Civic Center, but we have formed a partnership that's been very successful the last several years with Hope Missions, and they provide a place for people when it reaches a certain temperature that they can come in and get out of the cold. And we hope to continue that relationship with Hope Missions. I mean, there's that myth that all of these people are sent here from some other lands. Most of these people are hometown Anderson County folks. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. And a lot of those people are not worthless and no good. What has happened is they've fallen on hard times. A one paycheck family, you miss that rent check, boom, you're out on the street. What do? Do you live in your car? You can't live in your car when it's cold. And so that's been a great place to help people get back on their feet. And they have a navigator, a housing navigator that helps people find a place to live. They help them find where their benefits are. There are people that don't even know what they're entitled to, like Social Security. Where I'm homeless. Where do you send my Social Security check? I don't know anything about Social Security. They're helping these people get off the streets. They're providing them with hope. That's what the thing is called, Hope Missions. And we're proud of our partnership with them, and we hope that will continue. And it's a blessing because you know where those people go to for breakfast. We have the new soup kitchen. That's a place where you can go get lunch. Never ever think that it can't happen to you, because there are a lot of people at Hope Missions right now who never ever thought it would happen to them. So that which you do for the least of us, I'm sorry, that's all I'm going to say, but that's where it is.
And you mentioned Social Security. They even help people get IDs and Social Security cards.
Get IDs
They
and
can
things like
never
that.
navigate it without.
And they help people get jobs. I mean, you know, they're giving people a hand up.
And I know you just mentioned that because it's always been important to you. Why is it important to you that the county partners as much as it can to help the least of these?
Because that's what the county council wants us to do. We want everybody to do good. We just don't want these people to do good. We want everybody to do good. That's why we partner big time with AIM, with the Nehemiah Project, with Rebuild Upstate, while we work with AIM on the rent assistance program, when we reach out to all of these organizations, the Federation for the Blind and all of that.
Meals on Wheels.
Meals on Wheels. They're trying to make people's lives better. We're supposed to be a help.
And the county, I mean, the county council has made a point of putting resources for that as well.
Yes, it's not just talk. It's not showing up to a meeting and sitting there and said, yeah, we really need to do something about that. They put their money where the mouth is. There's lots of federal dollars that flow through Anderson County that some county councils will say, I don't want to do that. It's too much red tape. I don't want to get involved in that. If there's dollars, stray dollars out there that somebody else isn't taking, you can send them to Anderson County. We'll find a good home for them. Like the opioid project that we're working with, that we're going to help Shalom. We're going to help the Bridge Center with that. We're going to empower our coroner's office to go out and have an education program in our schools, but also in our civic clubs, because if you think the only people who are doing those drugs are in school, you're wrong. It is 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70-year-old people who need this education. We're trying to do the best we can. The primary job of government is health, safety, and public welfare. That's what you're supposed to do.
I heard you bragging on Paws to somebody last night. What makes Paws, a model shelter? Why is it such a solid shelter that you brag on so much?
Those people down there, that is a dedicated staff of animal lovers, starting with Dr. Sanders, Brandy, all of those people, Randy Lee, all of those people down there. They're getting ready for their big Halloween extravaganza. They care about the animals. They do things nobody else does, but everybody quickly adopts. They have been the ambassadors for Spartanburg. Did not have an animal shelter. Who are they looking to talk to? Dr. Sanders. Abbeville, she's helped them get on the ground. She's helped Greenwood. She's helped all of these places. But we have the largest physical facility in the state. We have the dog park, thanks to a lot of anonymous donors. We get donations all the time, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, sometimes much larger, from people who appreciate what Paws does. If you don't have dog food because you've lost your job and you want to turn your dog in, but you don't really want to, they will take some of that money and you will actually get dog food or cat food. Spay and neuter program, all of that stuff. It's a comprehensive approach. An animal shelter is not a place for you to bring the dog you don't want anymore. That is the wrong thinking. The right thinking is to adopt as many animals out, cut down on the number of animals that are unwanted, spay and neuter to death. All of that takes place down there with a truly dedicated staff. But again, you need to go down there for their Halloween celebration. I've taken my grandchildren down there and they have an absolute blast.
And they're overcrowded. They need help. They also have foster programs. You want to try before you buy.
They have foster programs. They have places where, again, we give you food so you can keep your animals. We'll do anything we can to provide an animal with a good home.
Many of the towns and cities in the county are heading to elections before we meet again. Voter registration elections led by Laura Booth Robinson and her team. They're considered one of the best in the state, and they speak in places.
They do a fantastic job. They're very professional. They want you to vote. They will go out of their way to help you to vote, but they're also as honest as the day is long. They're true professionals at what they do, and it's a blessing to have them here.
Really, it was remarkable to me to go down there on election day one cycle or so ago and watch how kind they were to people who were having a little trouble physically or needed a little extra help. There was a kindness factor that went beyond just professional in that office.
What we always tell everybody in Anderson County who works for Anderson County in any way, shape, or form, everybody you see pays your salary, and you need to be aware of that. So in essence, everybody in Anderson County is your boss. So treat them with respect and kindness. Sometimes we have a little issues where we don't do that, yes, but we try to recover from it and do better.
And they're also always looking for poll workers. That's paid positions.
Absolutely. You get paid to do it. And if you want to make a little extra money and have some fun, that's the place to go.
The county will quietly turn on the county Christmas tree lights downtown on the square.
Yep.
Any surprises, plans for this year's holiday?
I think we're going to have the band back again. That seemed like a great added attraction. We're working with the Chamber of Commerce. They're going to do their cookie crawl again. We're excited about that. So there's going to be a whole lot of activities going on downtown. So we're looking forward to that.
And when will the music start playing from the clock tower?
Probably right before Thanksgiving. But if you listen closely now, there's Halloween music that's playing, and as Halloween gets closer, there will be more Halloween music playing.